Sorry.
Now we're ready, okay, I guess. All right, good evening, everybody. Calling to order the Wednesday, August 2nd of 2023 Clean Water Commission. We'll go ahead and start with roll calls. I am Matt Jones, Chair. Present. Robert?
Present.
Ted?
Present.
Roger?
I'm here.
Jeff?
Present.
And Sandra, who we understand will not be present.
Correct.
At the meeting this evening. Justin, I'll hold on just a second there. Let's skip to Kate.
Present.
Josh. I do not see Josh in the room. I do not see Josh online yet. Okay. And finally, Justin, welcome back, Justin. I don't know if you wanted to say a word or two or more.
I could. I mean, it sounded like there's maybe one or two new faces. I can't see you guys, so I'll just say hello from my house. I wish I could have been there in person, but today and frankly this entire week has been a bit insane. We are house hunting, and it's an unfortunate experience in this market at the moment. We're not planning to go far. We're still going to be in Clark County and all that. But I'm Justin. I live on the east side of Vancouver, just outside of city limits in Clark County, in the Lackmas Creek watershed. I am a water resources engineer. I work for a company out of the Bay Area that I worked for straight out of school, and back with them fully remote now. So lots of water resources focused work. And for a year, I was the clean water division manager. So nice to meet those of you I don't recognize in there. And I see Jeff and Eric are there. Hey guys, miss you guys. I haven't seen you in forever. It's good to see you.
And also previously on the Clean Water Commission as well, this body. So again, welcome back. Okay, next item is the approving of the June 7th minutes meeting summary. I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to go through those. Are there any amendments? I was not at this meeting, so I can't comment on any of the content.
Move to approve.
All right.
Second.
Second. Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. All right. The minutes are approved. Sounds like as they stand. Alice, do we have public comment?
No, we do not.
Okay. Okay. No public comment. All right. Then moving on to updates. The manager's update, which I guess we still don't have a manager, but I guess that'll be covered by Jeff. So Jeff has some things to cover.
We'll give it a shot.
Okay.
All right. Just a really quick update, and for those that don't remember me, I'm Jeff Schnabel with Public Works Clean Water, and just kind of standing in here this meeting. We are between having Brent Davis exit as our interim, and we are still in the process of hiring an actual full-time permanent replacement for that guy. So when Justin left, Brent jumped in and took over that role for like 13 months or so. I can report, looking at having someone in the seat about the 16th of August. So we have made an offer. That offer has been accepted. No formal announcement has come out yet, so I won't share names and all of that, but we do have a new person who will be with us, so looking forward to that. The other update...
Can I pause there? Question on that, if I could. Who was part of that process?
There were 2 rounds of interviews.
Okay.
The first round was run by the Deputy County Engineer, Jeremy Provenzolo, with a number of staff and HR reps on that panel. That resulted in a narrowed list of folks that were interviewed a second time. I was asked to run that portion of the interview process. So with the help of the Deputy County Manager, as well as Brent, who participated in both rounds, we did a second round here a couple weeks ago, and some decisions were made.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess, my question is, and maybe, I'm not maybe expecting an answer, just more, I guess more of a question statement, is that my experience with advisory groups, especially one that are supposed to have such close interaction on, that no one was invited to be part of that process.
About the only thing I could probably say is, in
yeah, and
26 years that I've been around there, I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, I don't have that.
So I don't know if it's a process elsewhere, but I don't know that it is.
Yeah, in my experience in advisory group, if there's an advisory group that exists, typically almost always there's an advisory group member present. Otherwise,
If you'd like to.
it kind of goes back to my question of
Let me introduce you.
our role as an advisory group, but we'll get to that later. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Jeff.
Yep, cool.
Continue, please.
Yep,
Yeah,
and actually, maybe before I continue on, because we have Christine Cook here from our PA's office to listen in tonight, and she may have something about that last comment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to say that is not something that happens with the county in general.
Why?
So
Is there a legal
why?
reason, or?
It's just not the way that our hiring process operates. Do I have any say in how the hiring process operates or any knowledge of why it's that way? No, but I can assure you that, for example, planning commissioners don't sit in on hiring panels for folks in community planning, and other public works folks are not hired with the input of a member of the public, whether an advisory committee member or not. I don't believe in general we have public involvement in the hiring process. And part of that may be because that is considered in general privileged and private information. But that is simply a guess.
Okay. I mean, again, just, when we have a county mission, where openness is part of that word, and I'm part of this body, and having asked Jeff, like, what?
Sure.
It's a comment. It continues to be a comment.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Okay, well, the only other thing that I will add then, manager update-wise, would be another hire. And maybe this group already knows about this, but county did just hire, and she just started on Monday, a deputy public works director. So you'll have, I think you guys are familiar with Ken Lader, who is the public works director. And then underneath Ken, in the hierarchy, you have Jeremy Provenziola, who's been there for a while. He's the deputy county engineer. And then the other leg of that stool is now in place with Priya Danapal, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Priya just joined us here this week. So she will be the third leg of that two deputies and a lead. Priya is going to be overseeing the clean water division, as well as parks, as well as fleet, and I believe maybe even business services. You might not want to quote me on that, but I think it is.
Yeah, and the community engagement and inclusion.
Oh, yeah, and community engagement. So a lot on her plate, but we're really happy to have her there and engaging right away. And so that's going to help us with a lot of our kind of, county structure and getting things a little bit more organized again. So we're looking forward to that. I think I'll stop there. That's the big news.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Jeff?
I don't know if you're staying through the meeting or not, Jeff. This may be a comment that comes up at the end of the meeting, but the last meeting of this group, I asked that perhaps we add an agenda item in October to look at the Vancouver Lake Management Plan in its final form. And I know you're part of the technical advisory group, and I just wanted to raise that while you're here, because you participated in that, you were an active member, and it would obviously be something that you could introduce, and we could talk about the stormwater implications of that plan.
From my part, I think that's a fine idea, whether it's October or whenever, but I'd be happy to come and share some of that. There are definitely some stormwater recommendations in there that we're already looking at and going to want to be moving forward on. So, yeah, let's continue to try to make that happen.
Okay.
So we'll just make a note of it for now, Alice.
Yep.
Yep. Great, cool.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, thanks, Jeff. I guess we'll move on to Education and Outreach Report with Eric.
Sure, yeah. Last month, actually, no, we're in August now. 2 months ago, I shared the Follow the Water videos of the Watershed Alliance Food and Film series, the last film that they had. They usually get about 30 or more people that attend these free movies in the library, so I was able to kind of do some outreach and share a little bit about the Follow the Water campaign that we're a part of with the Clean Rivers Coalition. Upcoming on the 18th of this month, we'll be showing the Students for Clean Water winning videos and recognizing the students that won that contest, and that'll be at the Friday Night Movies in the Park, which is hosted by the City of Vancouver at Columbia Tech Center, so you're welcome to join and even stay for the feature film, which is Super Mario Bros. We'll have a table, and I'll be tabling table and tent with staff member from City of Washougal and also someone from the Water Resources Education Center. So I look forward to doing that. Because a couple of other events that were canceled, I was planning to do a dog paw event to do some outreach there around pet waste management, but that got canceled. And then unfortunately just got news last week that the Watershed Festival, which was a great event put on by CPU, primarily led by CPU. Prior to that, Columbia Springs, and they would go around to different regional parks and bring in a bunch of different folks that do education and outreach, and fifth graders would come and go to these different stations around and basically have a whole day. This was going to be at Louisville County Park, but unfortunately they canceled that, and it doesn't look like they're going to start it up again. So the good news is that they did a lot of record keeping and planning documents, so we'll see where that goes. I thought it was a great event, but unfortunately it's not going to be held this year, and it sounds like there isn't any intention to start that up again. We would participate in that. We would either have, in the past we've had a table, and in the past we've also helped to fund and hire a storyteller to Will Horniak to tell the Living Street stories as one of the stations that the kids would go to. Some other things that we've got, I just met with the Stormwater Partners, and I know that you might have received an email earlier this afternoon. I just sent one to, maybe you can distribute as you wish, about the Stormwater Partners Symposium, which will be on November 16th at the Water Resources Education Center, asking basically if anyone has anything to share, we can consider that the steering committee of Stormwater Partners, primarily for the report out section of the symposium. And the way that will take place again this year, we'll have a broader kind of keynote at the beginning, and then we'll have about 4 or 5 15-minute report out, basically people sharing a cool project that they've been working on, or an accomplishment, or an introduction to a new program that they're starting. So we'll also have a little more time for networking at the end of that symposium this year, because that's been something that's been commonly.
Is that the same one that was at Lacamas Lake?
Same one at Lacamas Lake.
Bob and I were at, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would, highly encourage anybody to go. It's definitely, to have our presence there. It was good too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't make it this year. I was just checking the calendar, so I hope.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, and if a number of you are
yeah, we got to be careful about that.
Making it, then just I need a good amount of advance if it becomes a public meeting or something of that sort.
Just please let me know.
Yeah. The City of Vancouver, who also out of the Water Resources Education Center run our Student Watershed Monitoring Network, submitted a quarterly report, and it was great to see some of the work that they're doing. More than 1,100 students that they reached and served in the Student Watershed Monitoring Network from 15 different schools in Q2. So that's just great numbers, and I feel like a great investment in our youth and our future to be able to get kids involved and engaged with learning about stream health hands-on. So that was great to see. We have a contract with the Pollution Prevention Assistance program through Ecology. I think it's just pending council's approval at this point, but assuming that does get approved, it's some funding from Ecology to Pollution Prevention Assistance, formerly called Source Control. We have a couple unique elements to visit businesses, basically. One of them will be something that I'm leading, which will be a regional coordination meetings with Southwest Washington partners to strengthen all the work that we're doing with that. City of Vancouver has some of their own pollution prevention assistant staff, and public health also supports some of the other cities that don't have their own staff in doing pollution prevention assistance. And I will also be trained, as a pollution prevention assistant specialist. So it'll be nice to do a different type of outreach as well, kind of broaden my skills there, and also to be able to lead that regional coordination effort. And finally, through the Clean Rivers Coalition, we are considering applying for an ecology grant to help support Follow the Water and the What's Your Lawn style pesticide reduction behavior change campaign in Clark County. And I think that's all I've got for these. What do you got,
Eric,
Ryan?
have you considered in all of these things some phosphate reduction education?
Yeah, I think some of that's inherent with the What's Your Lawn style campaigns and the natural yard care, and basically the big thing for the What's Your Lawn style campaign is mostly around we really try to stop the weed and feed, because that's just too much of everything everywhere when you just broadcast it indiscriminately like that. But I think that there will be some nutrient reduction, hopefully by addressing that and teaching folks some more natural yard care.
So how does this group, this commission, interface with the stormwater partners? Or do we?
Yeah, it was a pretty loose thing. Stormwater Partners goes back about, 2010 or so. We got a grant from Ecology to do some work around stormwater facility maintenance. We did that work. The group kind of went by the wayside in the mid-teens of Clark County, and then when I came on in the end of 2016, one of my first goals and tasks was reinvigorate this group. When I first started, I said, okay, let's bring everyone back. It used to just be the cities, but I said I think we should have a more inclusive group. So I invited some nonprofits and just anyone that was in the water world. Basically, had a few meetings like that and realized through getting some projects going that we probably just need to have a steering committee with the permittees, because the needs and the requirements and basically the needs and the requirements of a permittee is a little bit different than a conservation district or a nonprofit or another agency. And so at this point, it's really primarily led and steered by the cities in Southwest Washington, Clark County, and the permittees there. But then the symposium each year is that time when I try to re-engage the broader water community and bring folks together. And there's not always necessarily a project that we're all engaging in, but I like to make sure that we know about each other's projects and that it provides a space where people can network and basically build collaboration and build different networks and partnerships that could happen later on, whether it's between two nonprofits or an agency and a nonprofit or a permittee and an agency or whatever. And so that's what the symposium is about, and that's the time that we really engage the broader community and like to invite stakeholders like yourselves.
Thanks. Other questions for Eric? All right, thanks, Eric.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it
so much.
Yeah, usually you like to leave, but
yeah,
please feel free to.
Thank you.
Okay, Alice, staff liaison report.
Yes. A couple people who still haven't gotten their OPMA certification. Please, 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 please. I'm going to start getting a little naggy and sending out emails and or putting it on somebody else's list to do when I'm gone. But get that done. And then as a reminder, always CC me in on any and all emails. Even when I'm gone, please still do it. That way, if there's a public records request, it's there. It's easy for them to be able to pull it. They don't have to come and ask to get stuff from you guys. So much, much easier just to do that.
Roger, you got
Alice, when you are gone, we are going to probably need some kind of liaison who is going to fill that hole.
We are gonna, in fact, I haven't told the rest of my team. Nobody, actually, that was one of the things that I'm going to do tomorrow, is tell the rest of my department tomorrow, because,
Got it.
I have a meeting tonight.
Yes.
So, and Jeff found out yesterday. So, and I requested Monday. So this has been something that has happened really quickly. So, I'm going to let them know, next week. I'm only in the office for 4 days. So I'm working with other staff, and we're gonna, make a plan and figure out how to do coverage, and how we're going to be able to support the Clean Water Commission, and how that's all going to be done.
So I'm clear, and I don't want any personal, just because are you leaving permanently, or are you
No,
leaving?
I'm going to be on a 4-week medical leave.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Sure. So I'll be out, and we'll be back probably early first, second week of September. All goes well, which it should. So, and I will be in communication with everybody and letting everybody know who to contact, who's going to be taking over and helping with what things, and how everything is going to work. So that's in the plan. We just finished up on Monday and submitted all the final billing and final reports for the 2021-2023 Pollution Prevention Assistance Program, the PPA that Eric was just talking about, that's for the next 2 years. We just finished up the last 2 years, and now transitioning. And I actually have a part in that, and it's this contract is actually the largest we've ever gotten, and it will have a number of unique elements. Eric's going to be handling the regional coordination. I'm going to take on the environmental justice, creating an environmental justice plan. And one of the other things that a couple of things we're doing with that is we're going to be doing some transcreation, which is culturally appropriate translation. You've probably heard Eric talk about that in the past on some of the things that we've done. We're going to have a consultant come in and do that for us, and then we'll be able to have it. We're looking at specifically targeting, as he was talking about, the weed and feed and the issues with taking care of lawns and things like that. One of the aspects is the mobile lawn care units, businesses that come through and are working for people. So we are actually going to be targeting that population, because a large percentage of the people who are doing the work, English is not their first language and may not even be a strong second language. So that way we will be able to give them information so that they can read it in, most likely will be Spanish, but that is one of the things that we're going to review and see what our needs are. But that's initially what we've identified, is that will be our target audience, and that we've also gotten money for an online interpreter, so that they'll be able, our assistants will be able to immediately get an interpreter on the phone and be able to communicate with somebody. So with business owners and workers and some of those things. So there's a lot of really great things. I know there are also going to be another aspects of the PCB aspect of that, and mitigating that. I can't remember, there's a lot of it, but it's covering a number of our portions of our salaries to work on some of these projects, which will help educate and reduce the impact on stormwater. I've been working on the annual Public Works Safety Meeting group. I've been arranging the facilities and the keynote speaker. Initially, hopefully it's going to be the people from DNR who will be doing a talk about the international command structure and disaster response, and we are hoping to highlight the lessons learned from the Nakia fire, because we have so many brand new employees. Over a third of the employees who are currently still here were not at the last safety meeting that we had. So we are going to be having that, and it's going to be October 18th, and that'll be coming up. And then I'm also on the 30th annual Northwest Public Employees Diversity Conference Organizing Committee, and that'll be in early October. And I had that we didn't have a clean water manager, but it sounds like we might. And so Jeff's been unfortunately sitting in the hot seat, helping us out with everything right now. So hopefully something announcement will be coming soon. And you know about the deputy director. Justin was just reappointed yesterday, or was appointed to fill Brendan Addis's position. And his term goes through the end of the year. And I'll get back to everybody about what we need to do with that. The other thing I needed to make sure, it will be really, really critical. There's three of you, Justin, Roger, and is it Matt or Jeff? I can't remember now who it, or Josh. It's Josh Seeds, who is the three who will be, their term ends in December. The current bylaws say that you need to let us know by the end of September because of our old timing. And that really, really, really puts a rush on being able to get it out, the notice for the 30 days, get everything in, and the people who've been on selection committee knows being able to review the application, set up the interviews, do all of the aspects we need to get it done. If you can let me know if you're interested in reappointing, renewing and going again and applying again, please let me know. It just helps because that's something that is in the current bylaws. I don't know if it necessarily needs to be.
That's something I'm thinking, like, if we have to publicly advertise
I know.
it and go through a process, what difference would it make if we tell you we're interested?
I know.
Would we be interested when we put in or not?
It used to be that they would automatically renew. And that hasn't been.
Okay. If you had a term.
If you had a term, if you were seated, you would be automatically renewed. And that has, I think that has changed, and that is something that has not been updated with, and that's one of the things that I really want to update with these bylaws. And I'm going to set up bylaws subcommittee. I'm going to set up a meeting for a couple meetings in September so that we can start in October, so we can really start working on our bylaws, because I dropped the ball with everything going on around here.
Is that something that we can just, as we've done with the bylaws before, that we can just dispense temporarily with the people emailing you, and then at our next session, strike that part from the bylaws if everybody?
It would be the end of October, or the next meeting isn't until October 2nd. So that's why I'm like, just let me know. We're still going to have to go through everything, but if you can let me know in August, that'd be great. Okay. Before next Thursday, that'd be even better. But if not, I will get to it first, second week of September. So, and then we can move. We do have a little bit more breathing room now that we aren't coming up on that first week of January, so we have a little bit of breathing room, but I know we like to have training in January, so, for new commissioners coming on board. So, I would like to make sure we have everybody on and appointed and confirmed with the council and everything done by that time. So, which is, you know, would be what, the first, maybe the second, third, and fourth. So first, third, and fourth are the council meeting dates right now. So there's a possibility, but realistically, Christmas time, they're not going to have one on the third and fourth weekend, Tuesdays. So if you can, that would be great. And then I will be getting out the bylaws information to Commissioner Trust and to Commissioner Martin Bem, Sandra and Bob, let them know, and we'll get that set up. So, and I think
Fix that, Bob?
Yeah.
thanks for taking one for the team. Because Marie was working with me on it last year, and one of it also is making it more consistent, because that's one of the things that they've noticed is that a lot of the bylaws across Public Works Advisory Committees as well as across the county are very different. And so we want to try to, I'd like to, and I've received the current ones for those, and I've distributed those out to the other two members and let them know, and so we can start looking at it and start making edits. I know I want to get rid of the attendance in the in the annual report. That would be my suggestion, just because I don't think that, you know, if you're excused, that's one thing versus just not showing up. But so that's that I think is all I have.
Okay. Right, any
Actually,
questions?
Yep, Chair, sorry, could I jump right back in a little bit on the communication when Alice is out starting next Thursday for that month? Just sitting here thinking about it, let's make this simple. I'll be your liaison during that time period. So everything that you would normally send to Alice, please send to me. And if there are specific folks that need certain sub-pieces of that, I'll take care of triaging that out and moving those things along, so.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right.
Other questions for Alice?
Alice, I have two things. One is, I'm still a little about the required training, and I don't want you to necessarily finger people. For all I know, I'm one of them, because I'm unclear as to what the cycle, do we have to do this every year?
No, it's a 4-year certification.
Okay,
So
only basically new commissioners, or they all?
new commissioners or somebody who's been on a number of years would need to. Like, I had to renew mine. The staff, we need to do it, and we also need to do the records, because I'm one of the records retention specialists for our department.
Yeah, that wasn't clear to me, but thank you for clarifying.
And it is one of the requirements that people as sitting representing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris.
No, it's a requirement.
Yeah.
It's in state law.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's in state law, and so it's, and it's supposed to be done within 90 days, so.
To be clear.
Yeah, it's supposed to be done within 90 days, so we really need to get this done.
All right, and then the other question I have, this whole issue of the lawn care folks never occurred to me before, but clearly they could be a player in a number of the issues that we're talking about. Roger's been on the phosphate kick tonight, so I'm kind of keyed into this. The question is there any regulation of these folks? Does the county have any wherewithal? Do they register with the county? Do they need some kind of license to do this here? And so they're pretty much free to come in, and a lot of them are out of Portland, and they can do whatever they want, and there's no form of any kind of regulation to them.
I don't know.
I think we'd have to check on that. I don't know offhand whether there's anything. I don't believe there's much. You know, nothing that would certainly dictate the type of products they're using or the amount of application of certain things that they would be allowed to use. I don't think that exists, but we can look into that a little bit and see if there's something in the code.
I would appreciate it because it never really dawned on me, but yeah, my whole neighborhood is covered with those folks that way daily, and and I'm assuming it's that way throughout Vancouver.
And potentially the owner is registered and has all of their information and, you know, has everything that they're supposed to be doing, but it doesn't sometimes trickle down to the boots on the ground. And we really want to be able to talk with and communicate these key concepts with the boots on the ground and be able to give the information back to the owner or whomever, the manager or whatever. So that's one of the aspects of it, so.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it works different neighborhoods, but I mean, in my neighborhood, there's got to be at least a dozen at different homes in the complex almost every day. And the reality is generally some guy working on his own. It's not like this is a corporation. It's not like Green Lawns or whatever is doing most of this. It's mostly done by a guy with a truck and a lawnmower and whatever he feels like doing. But regardless.
Other comments or questions for Alice? Okay, thank you, Alice. Moving on to unfinished business and action. So we have role of the commission work group, and under that, review and approval of proposed broader role verbiage. Little note here that the motion is going to be needed here.
One comment. Until we have a new, whatever you want to call the director, until he has had time to sit down with us, until we have some guidance from all of the fuzzy bodies that are in this process, until we have that guidance coming up with a set of processes, might be a little thin to get into that today.
So, okay, and just so I'm clear, are we talking about the code, county code here, the role verbiage, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's your comment?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's right.
I just want to make sure I'm clear. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to offer up. We also have a draft letter to the county council on this particular general overview, which really, that letter contains sort of the genesis of the things we talked about and already moved and approved at the last meeting. So I'm not sure that there's a secondary task here other than that letter is intended to get the ball rolling with the county council on the revision of the code, which establishes this committee and does the rest of that. So to me, this is a little odd in that I think this has already been done.
I put it on there in case, so that it was, if you needed to have it as an action item, it was there.
Okay, Jeff,
So,
you
yep.
look like you're chomping to get in there.
I am. I'm sorry. I was going to mention that I could talk about this a little earlier, but let me jump in right here because I think I have some information on probably portions of A, B, and C, maybe not B so much, but so Ken reached out last week to me to see if I could kind of give a little assistance to this process, both for the symposium part and for the work session, right? Kind of two separate animals here, but and so we are working forward on both. I was able to spend some time with council today at council time talking about the symposium a little bit and upcoming work session, those types of things. Reason for that was because the symposium save the date went out last week, right? And so there was immediate interest and immediate kind of outreach from council back to Kathleen Otto, as county manager, and on down the line to get a bit of an update about all things Lacamas. So we were there today, myself and Ken, and we chatted with council a little bit about the current status of these things. But I did share with them information about how we're proceeding with the symposium and where we're at with, prep of the flyer and the letters and all of that. So that was kind of our first piece of our conversation. And then the other thing, we kind of ended with the work session that you all will have hopefully in the relatively near future here, right, to talk about the 2022 annual report as well as the 2023 work plan, talk a little bit more about the symposium, those types of things. So I'm not quite sure if I should dive deeply into all of that because I'm going to cross the lines between A, B, and C, but let me start with A.
So we have information. Tell us what you know.
All right, so let me start with A and give you what I got.
Let me change the page.
Change the page.
Okay.
I'll start with A. So I think you have back in your packet today under A1, I believe you have a lightly edited version, basically just for typos and capitalizations and such, version of the, no, I'm the only one that has it.
Yes, I have it.
Chris has it too. Well, you guys don't get to see it. Okay. Oh, I thought that went back out to Matt.
Oh, I gave it to Matt and to
I think
Bob,
we were
but
the only two that had
Oh,
it.
okay.
we hadn't.
Okay, so that's the copies that I have in my hand. Okay, so I will pass these around if folks are interested in looking, but we, county staff offered to kind of just take a peek through that letter. I think you'll find there's no substantive changes. There are a few edits of formatting nature and capitalization nature. So I believe that concludes county staff's involvement in this letter.
Okay.
Right? So as far as I know, we can move ahead at your leisure to get this letter out to whomever you should choose, right? I think this body last meeting already decided that that would go to all of the council members, if I don't have that wrong. So if that's the case, I think what Alice would like to have back is just confirmation that these little items that we've changed here are okay, and at that point we can accept the changes, shoot it back to you all, and off you go. Fair enough?
I would like, from Bob's the primary author on this,
Okay.
I'd like to.
And I'm very comfortable with the editorial changes. It's fine.
Okay.
It has not changed the meaning or the substance of this to me within that we voted on at the last meeting.
Excellent.
So I would move that we accept the editorial changes as suggested and move this letter on. It's been a long time.
If we need a motion, yes, second. Do we need a motion? Let's do one just for fun, I guess. So, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay? Okay, all right.
Perfect.
Motion passes.
Awesome. All right.
Needed one?
Yeah, I'm not sure we did, but.
Oh, sometimes a little overkill isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, cover our bases here. Okay.
Great. So number 2, work session with council, right? Let's chat about that a little bit as well. So this is one that I'm going to propose after discussions with the deputy county manager and Ken, the public works director, yesterday. Looking at the scope of information that is currently in the 9th step, which is the request for a work session, right, that county's put together, it's got a lot in there. There's the 22 report, there's the 23 work plan, probably an update to the 23 work plan since we're a long ways into the year, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also the work that's ongoing with the symposium, and I'm convinced that the the council would like to talk more about that with all of you. So, and at the same time, there's the letter and there is the discussion that needs to kind of go around what is the role going forward of this body? Is there change there? Is there, blah, blah, blah. I've heard little snippets of folks talking about that process, kind of hoping that it's very straightforward. It's just not, right? It's just not. And so our proposal is that we would actually bring you folks in front of the council twice in fairly rapid succession, right? But the first time, as soon as we can possibly get it, being for what you normally come to council for, which is the annual report, plan, and then really, kind of dive into the Lockness thing. I think that can be a nice stepping stone to that next meeting, but at this point, staff aren't ready to be able to have that discussion. Management's not ready to be able to have that discussion in a way that is meaningful, I think, to everybody. Part of that is because we've just got 2 brand new direct line managers coming on board who really should be part of this conversation. You know, we got Priya on 2 days ago. We have our new manager coming on 2 weeks from now. So that's what Deputy County Manager, Public Works Director, and I would like to proceed with. I think we can kind of almost simultaneously develop those things. We have a number of things that will need to be discussed on that second item, right? Because it is a departure from kind of where this group has been, and that type of proposal could have ramifications for internal county staffing and for all the other kinds of things supporting this group, right? Maybe even some legal questions. So I know that's probably just a bummer to hear that, oh, let's just push this back a little bit more, but I would really like to do that, I think, as a way to separate the two, move everything forward, and go from there. Is that a good or a bad?
That's a bad.
Oh.
That's a bad. And I want to, you have been involved in all sorts of planning of operations for a long time. And you know, when you have a whole bunch of different national, state, local people all coming together, getting in one bag early and appropriately is really very critical, because you lose participants, you lose people's interest, and you lose what's going on with, and I'm talking about the symposium.
Right. That's the next topic, but
yeah. You lose that whole process.
Yeah.
So to have a county continued slowdown of operations is less than beneficial.
Hear me out, because that's topic number 2, and that one's not slowing down.
Okay.
Symposium's not slowing down.
Okay.
What is the slowdown? What is it that you're apologizing for?
For splitting you into 2 work sessions instead of going and talking about, hey, let's change the framework of this body. At the same time, we're doing those other things that the work session currently is looking at.
Right.
So
you're
instead,
proposing...
we want 2 visits with council. Let's get the basic business of the day done, the reports, the plans, and then we talk about the future of this group and how it morphs.
So for Roger's point, when would Lactamus be? Would that be in the second or the first meeting?
That would be in the first meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, to continue talking about the upcoming event.
Okay.
Yeah, first meeting. I guess I'll jump to that other part because it's a good segue.
Yeah, just to clarify, I think what you're suggesting is that the code revision is the part that you're trying to sort of slow down.
Correct.
As we go through this.
Correct.
And I guess my point would be twofold. One is, if you read our current mission and vision statements, there's nothing that we have proposed in the code revision that is different than our current outline for work. So there's nothing new in it. The reason we're proposing a code revision, and what we talked about with Sue when we went in to talk with her, is the existing code deals with 2 subjects, primarily the funding part, which is no longer the fee schedule, is no longer applicable, and how we relate to county management since the county government changed. So we're not talking, in my mind, about a change in the charge to this group, but a change in how this group interfaces with county government. And those things are monkeyed up in the county code, as I'm sure they are for almost every advisory committee the county deals with right now, because we changed the form of county government. And we also, in our particular case, there's something to do with fee schedules, which is no longer applicable at all. So that's all we're doing is making a plug to them to, let's clean this up and put it on the grounds and reflect how we do business.
I would add to that, the last, I believe it was the last meeting, when we were all looking at the county code as it's written right now, the term water quality is in there, and it's been in there since the inception and the passage of that code section. So that's already there.
Right.
And all we're doing is explaining that our mission and vision suggests that we have maybe some broader goals in watershed review and watershed performance than just stormwater. So we're already there, in my opinion, but, you know.
I agree, and so this is just a matter of, I think it's more a housekeeping thing. And I don't know that warrants a second, or there's anything in that would warrant a two-stage approach, but how this relates to the county manager and the public works director and all that, that's kind of where the code probably needs your input. And of course, our suggestion is this code be revised with the division's help and cooperation. Basically, you guys would be defining that. We're not gonna get involved with how all this works within the county government.
Gotcha. Well, that's helpful. I do appreciate the additional background, and again, my apologies, I'm kind of jumping into this, but I do think it'll still be a two-time conversation, just because of the devil being in the details of this kind of stuff. I think there's been a little bit of confusion on what the ask really means from the Clean Water Commission to council. The way I've been hearing it, it doesn't sound quite like that. It sounds a little bit more like a shift in scope, a broadening of scope to be not stormwater, which is what this group is.
Not really.
Well, but it has been historically and interpreted that way. So
the code does not say stormwater; it says water quality.
Right, but I mean,
tradition.
Right.
Yeah, that's
that's why there's
which
discussion.
for me as a public administrator, that's nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, right. And no, not meant to be an excuse, but it meant to be a need to discuss.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't just whoop without having that talk. And so I'm not here to say whether the current code justifies the things that we're doing with the group right now, or where you want to go or not. And it won't be, a decision made at my level, certainly. So, but we will want to have that conversation. So I think if we can, bite our lips a little bit and just grin and bear it and get through that process, I think it will be not you, Roger. So yeah, I think we'll come out ahead and we'll have a little bit more healthy conversation. And again, just the timing of it. I don't want to wait and have the important talk of the LACMAS symposium and the work you all did last year and the work you're doing this year have to wait to even start until after we've got our new people on board and up to speed. I mean, because we're talking a couple months probably, right? So let's get that one out of the way and get that on the board, and then we can move to the second. But yeah, we don't want to sit on our heels here either. We don't want to, all of a sudden it's April of 2024 and we haven't had the discussion, right?
That's what we're worried about. I mean, you can understand.
Yeah, no, clearly.
The way we've always done it, that's been just the way it has been around here. So nothing, as in, well, I won't go on my soapbox, but it's,
that's right. You can borrow Roger's.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I have, mine's big too.
So, should I hop into the next piece and we'll talk about how to keep LACMAS moving?
Well, how does everybody feel about that? Everybody knows how I feel. So
I guess I'm less than enthusiastic, but I'm willing to accept it as long as this keeps moving on a fairly straightforward path and we see some movement. Because honestly, I think from our perspective, what we saw was sort of a stonewall here for a bit. And it has jeopardized the work we put into the symposium, I think. And that's something I think that the commission here is very strongly in favor of seeing move forward quickly and on schedule.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I would emphasize that timely communication with the people that are trying to do the work, that you guys and what's going on and how we can effectively move people off the dime would be, that's really kind of critical here.
Yep. Yeah, and frankly, that's why Ken asked me to kind of step in and take over where Brent was. We don't have a Brent right now, and so there's really been, Alice trying to herd some cats a little bit and get things moving. So I really appreciate all of her work to move things forward as much as we have. and obviously your help will still be critical
Yeah,
to
I
keep
have one
moving, but,
recommendation for,
yeah.
or one ask for our incoming manager.
You bet.
Maybe an ask, and a recommendation for Ken and Priya, I think you.
Yeah,
mentioned.
Priya. Mhm.
Maybe their ask is just communicate,
Yep.
over-communication.
Yep.
You cannot communicate enough, and I think that's been a huge frustration,
Yeah.
well, for me. I'm not gonna speak for the rest of the body.
No, I think for all of us.
Okay, well, I didn't want to,
That's really where the pedal is not hitting the metal right here.
Yeah, I'm optimistic that we're moving in the right direction on communication. I'm really, I mean, of course, I'm just saying that, right? But no, I mean that, and I believe that we will probably be moving in that direction, very well, have a lot of confidence in these
May
people.
ring off.
And that's totally fine. That's why I carry two. So if one, runs out of ringers, then the other one will ring, so. So yeah,
I'm okay with
in all honesty, please do feel free to reach out to me in this next period, particularly once Alice is gone, and make sure that we've got communication going, because.
And I'm fine with bifurcating this, because I understand you got new management coming in, give them an opportunity to understand how the commission operates, and, that's fine. I mean, I can understand why there's some question about delaying that, so. But again, there should be a fairly compressed timeframe, I'd hope, we could have one after the other, so.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, and I hate to ask for more patience from you, but thank you.
when this
Right.
first meeting, guess, what should we be thinking about on our calendars?
We were shooting, are they still holding that end of August one, or is that too late now?
I don't know.
I think we're looking early September.
Early September.
Yeah, I mean, this gets difficult, just
Yeah.
like scheduling for the symposium, because
Yep.
I have some things scheduled in September. So
What would be
tomorrow to visit.
what would be your ideal? Yesterday, of course, but
Yeah, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
No joke, when we were,
Next week.
Yeah. Let me
Before the
see
end
how expedited it can be.
Yeah, before the end of the month would be nice. I mean, some last week of August would be good.
Yeah, I know at one point the 23rd was being bandied about,
Yeah.
correct? And at one point that was held, but then there was a delay, so
And I don't know.
now we're not quite sure. Okay.
I had asked them to hold it.
Yep.
I don't know if it's been,
All right.
that was.
I will have you that information very soon. And we'll shoot for an August if we can get it anyway.
I don't care when the meeting is, and really even what is talked about. We need to get communication out to the people who are coming, so
Yep.
that they can set up their calendars and write their presentations
Yep.
and gather their materials. And that gets critical. We have to know how many are going to be here, so
Yep.
we know how many sandwiches to order, and all the rest of that kind of happy horse manure.
Roger really wants to move to that next topic, so I'm gonna move there, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. So, are you ordering me a sandwich? I wanna go.
If you're coming,
Yeah.
Come, you bet.
So, all right. So, on the actual symposium, a couple of items. One, obviously save the date went out. Two, we've reviewed internally with our, I always forget what the name of the group is, Kaylee's group. What's their
Community engagement.
Community engagement. Once you're here too long, they change the names too many times, you can't remember. So community engagement has reviewed Kate's most recent version of the flyer and schedule, and kind of made it into county, formatting. Looks like there's a couple more blanks in there that need to be filled. I can help with one of those in a moment. The two invitation letters, the one to county council and the one to other stakeholders, those two versions have also been reviewed. Those are, I believe all those are in the packet, right?
No.
Dang it. Okay, so they're ready to go for your review, and once we turn those around, looking for a nod, right? They can go out the door.
As soon as I get the okay. I've been waiting for the okay.
Yep.
That's why I've been waiting. That's that's part two was,
Perfect.
finally I'm like, I'm just gonna send this out, in part three, you'll get it.
So then my question is, how do you want to get that approval? So we're gonna provide these back to this group in new form, right? for any additional changes that might be made, and then Kaylee can put those in and.
I have it on my computer. I could try and share my screen. Or do we
And I
want
think
to
we
do
Oh,
could
to
just
get-
probably, for approval, send it to the LACMAS work group, if the rest of,
Okay,
everybody's okay with that.
Yeah.
why don't we do that?
The in-depth review should happen with the three of us.
Perfect.
Verify everything was up to date.
Yep, let's do that. All right, so we'll provide those newly updated and formatted versions to the three of you?
Yeah, those three right there.
Those three, okay. Tomorrow, because they're done. So we should be able to turn them around as soon as you guys say go, we'll finalize, and then I think it comes back to you for distribution to the local channels, right? Okay,
With the exception of who sends them to the county council.
right. So on this last round with the save the date, Alice did that internally. I think we're happy to do that again for those ones, and you guys can take care of all the other lists.
And you
Is
will
that cool?
send it to Marie's office as well.
Yes.
And please, within the Clean Water Division and within Public Works, those who want or have a desire to come, we would like to have them show their little shining faces in the doorway, but we need to know who they are.
That's the next piece. So, at council time this morning, when I was sharing about this event, they did move forward, council did, to determine who is going to be Councilor Y, and join Mayor Hogan in the intro remarks, and that's gonna be Councilor Medvigi, okay? That's probably not a big surprise, but yeah, so he's very interested in participating. Councilor Marshall also indicated that she is definitely planning to attend, and Councilor Young indicated he's anticipating attending. So at least three are planning to be there. I don't know about the other two, but at that point, we will be, so for Alice, that will mean it is a noticed meeting. County manager is well aware of that at this point from that meeting, and Rebecca also up in the council's office is also. So this group will need to be noticed as well, so we'll have two public notices going out.
I'm not sure who we're gonna get yet, but if I have to, I'll go over there.
Yeah, I'll just mumble.
hear you.
I just look over. Yeah. Okay, so that was nice. I was glad to see their interest. They're very supportive of the work that's being done out there and interested in, taking part. So, yeah. I think that might be all I have on it, but I feel like we're moving.
A question. This subject of the symposium has been an item of discussion. I mean, having read the chief engineer's comments, my wife said, this guy is a little bit hot under the collar. And so there has been discussion, whether he's hot under the collar or not, from one end of the county organization to the other. We would like to be responsive to their needs, desires, and emotions, but we have had marginal communication about that kind of process. We are in a whole new kind of process for the Clean Water Division, and this is new ground as far as all of us that are on it now goes. So having a bit of feedback, positive and or negative, it would be very positive. It would be pretty helpful to us. Yeah, we can take care of getting the nuts and bolts going, but having that feedback would be helpful.
Specific to the event or just in general? Well, probably just in general too, but yeah.
In general too, but specific to the event,
Yeah.
because I think, I mean, we've all been involved with bureaucracy before. When you do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, the feathers get a little ruffled. We've been there. So, a little feedback might smooth their feathers, and I think it might even smooth some of ours.
Sounds good. And when you refer to the director, I mean, you're referring to Public Works Director? Specifically?
Yeah, yeah.
Ken? Okay.
Ken, yeah.
I haven't seen those communications, so I don't know if
Oh,
there
okay.
was feathers ruffled or anything like that. but-
Well, it was an email to all of us.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, Ken, speak through me here. I know there's an interest to be, more proactive and more communicative. We are, again, hopeful that with the addition of Priya and our other management staff, that all of those things won't have to go there. So for now, I'll be the one that kind of goes between you guys and Ken. And if we need to, Ken is happy to try to come up with a time to chat directly with you all. I don't know when that right time is for that, but if it's part of like immediate talk with the symposium, or is it part of that? Yeah. Is it a precursor to the larger discussion of the future of the group? I don't know. Maybe it's both.
If you want a little humor.
I love humor.
I've worked with engineers all my life, and they're awful lot of fun. But they are fun.
We always used to say that the reason scientists have the jobs is to figure out how to fix all the stuff the engineers screwed up. So.
Hey now.
All my engineers. Oh, are you still here? Oh, yeah. So my engineer friends love it. Yeah.
So are we finished with number 5, unfinished business, or did we finish that finished business?
I guess so.
I think so. I think we leave this with 2 things. One, we're on expedited path to distribute the materials for the symposium, and that should be forthcoming within the next day or 2.
Yep.
The other is that we are scheduling our annual report meeting, and that the discussion about the code revision will be raised at that meeting, but there will be a follow-up meeting to deal with the whole code revision issue and how that will be dealt with.
Yep, exactly.
It sounds like the motion that was needed, the review and approval of proposed broader role verbiage, is a moot point. Is that?
I believe that to be true, because I believe that is in the existing letter, which we've already said we're going to send.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so can we finish out the unfinished business? Everybody feel comfortable?
Good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Thank you, everybody. New business actions. We don't have anything listed. So is there any new business? No? Okay. Next is roundtable discussion.
It's a square table.
Any square table discussion? Yeah.
Well, I would just like to say I appreciate the effort on the part of the division to get sort of off the snide here and get things moving. And that it was becoming a bit frustrating to us. And I became concerned that we would not be able to communicate with the participants of the symposium in time to actually make this work. And so I really do appreciate the effort made by all the staff to get this moving forward. And I'm confident now that we're going to make the issue actually go forward. And I think there's a bright future for this commission, too. I think that the work that we sort of envision is necessary. I think the recent articles in the Columbian on both Vancouver Lake and Lacamas Lake highlight the fact that the watersheds in the county are important to almost everyone, and that this is a place and a group that can help move those issues forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's, yeah, I second that.
Not sure we needed a motion.
I know that.
Thank you
Not a motion.
Thank you both for.
I agree with
Thank you both for speaking up.
Yeah.
Other comments for the discussion for the greater good? Nothing. Going once, looking online, going twice. Okay, I think maybe we might be out of here at record time, actually, since so. With that, we've completed the agenda in its entirety, and the meeting is adjourned.
So big.
Wow.
Wait a minute.